as we have just talked about how the lagging strand is formed. Now there is a question which comes, how the lagging strand is formed. See here, as we discussed, lagging strand is made in fragments. There are multiple primers, right? So we talked about here is one primer, here is one primer. So this part of the DNA is made by DNA polymerase 3. After that, DNA polymerase will come and it will remove this primer. It will remove this primer and it is going to make, it's going to put DNA strand here, DNA nucleotides here. Important thing about DNA polymerase is it needs 3' end. So when this primer is removed, the 3' end is given by this part of the DNA. But what about when this primer is removed? What about this? When this primer is removed, when this primer is going to be removed, how this part is going to be filled? Because this side of the DNA is 5'. 3' is on this side. For filling this part, for filling this gap, DNA polymerase needs 3' end. It's not going to get it. Why? Because 5' is on this side, 3' is on this side. To fill this gap, there is no 3' end. So this part of the DNA is not filled. So which means that when the two strands they are made, the lagging strand always loses some part of the DNA, because the end of the DNA cannot be filled, right? So it means that lagging strand will always have some part removed from the ends, and then when this, so the DNA molecule will be formed like this, and when this is going to go to the second cycle of replication, again same thing is going to happen. The lagging strand is again going to have some part missing from the ends. So it means that the way the DNA replicates, the lagging strand will always have some part of the DNA removed from its ends. And that is true. That's the way the DNA replicates. That's going to happen. So does this mean that when the replication is taking place, some part of the DNA is always removed? If it is that is happening, yes, that's happening. If that is happening, it means that in every cycle of replication, our cells are losing some genes. Yes, the DNA is getting eroded from the ends. It is getting removed from the ends. But we are not losing some genes. The reason is, if you have heard about telomeres. What are telomeres? Telomeres is basically a short stretch of some random DNA sequence. Okay, so at the end of our chromosomes, we have some random non-specific DNA sequence which does not code for any gene. So which means that yes, in every cycle of replication, DNA replication, some part of the DNA is getting removed, but we are not losing some of the important genes, because at the end of the chromosomes there are telomeres. They do not code for any gene. We also call telomeres like caps. They are caps on the chromosomes. So every normal cell can only undergo a specific number of cycles of replication, because once the telomeres are removed, the cell cannot further divide. The cell has to die. So that is why every normal cell has a finite lifespan, and that lifespan is determined by the length of the telomere. Once the telomere is gone, the cell has to die, because after that the cell will start losing some of the important genes. Okay, so that is why every normal cell has a finite lifespan. If we talk about cancer cells, they are immortal. They keep on dividing. How can they do that? Why they don't have finite lifespan? Because they have an important enzyme in them called telomerase. And what does this telomerase does? It catalyzes the lengthening of telomeres in them. Okay, And the same enzyme is also present in the germ cells. Okay, so that is why, so you know that we have two different kinds of cells in our body. We have somatic cells, we have sex cells or the gametes. These gametes also have this enzyme called telomerase, and it catalyzes the lengthening of the telomeres. So that is why these germ cells, they don't die. That's why they are able to pass the information from generations to generations. And the same enzyme is present in the cancer cells. So this enzyme helps in the, it catalyzes the lengthening of the telomeres. So that is why in the cancer cells, these telomeres, they are not eroded. They're not eroded. So that is why this regulation is lost by the cancer cells. That is why cancer cells can keep on dividing, because the telomeres are not eroded. Why? Because they have overexpression of this enzyme called telomerase. And there's a lot of research going on currently on this enzyme, how we can downregulate the expression of this enzyme so that the cancer cells can have a finite lifespan, so that they can also die. That's what it is. Okay, this picture, if you see, this is showing, this is a fluorescent, this is a picture taken by fluorescent microscope, and these are showing these points which you see, which are being lit. This is showing fluorescence, because this is a picture taken by fluorescent microscope, and these points are basically showing the telomeres. So you can see how the chromosomes are, and how at the ends of the chromosomes there are telomeres, and they're also called caps on the chromosomes. Okay, and the last topic we are going to discuss in this chapter is that how does this DNA, we know that DNA is carrying millions of genes on these chromosomes, right? So DNA is a very, very long molecule. So our cells, we cannot see them with the eyes, right? We have to use a microscope. So in the cell, there is a nucleus. Nucleus is even smaller. How does this all long molecule of DNA gets fit into the small nucleus? So there is a packaging pattern, or there's a way how does this DNA gets packed inside the small nucleus. So basically, the DNA is wrapped very, very tightly on the proteins called histone proteins. So we have already discussed the charge on DNA is negative, and it is because they have phosphate groups. So these histone proteins, they are made of some amino acids which have positive charge on them. Arginine, histidine, these are some of the amino acids of which these histones are made, and they are positively, these amino acids, they have positive charge on them. This DNA, which is negatively charged, it is very, very tightly wrapped over these histone proteins because of the opposite charges, and they form nucleosome. So you can see this is your DNA, this is DNA helix. It's 2 nanometers in the diameter, and these are the histones, and these are the histones, and you can see how the DNA is wrapped over these histones. Okay, and when the DNA is wrapped over the histone, it's called nucleosome, and the diameter becomes 10 nanometer. You can see how it is becoming thick. And then these nucleosomes, they further coil, they further fold, and then they form chromatin. And the chromatin fiber is around 30 nanometers in the diameter. And then it further folds, further coils, forms loops, and it further becomes around 300 nanometers in the diameter. Okay, so this is what the basically the chromatin is, and we have already discussed in our previous chapter that when the cell is not dividing, it is like a dense mass, and dense mass is basically of the chromatin, which is DNA wrapped over the protein, and it is diameter is around 300 nanometers. And when the cell enters into mitosis, when the cell enters into division, it becomes more thick, it becomes more condensed, and it attains the shape of chromosome. And the chromosomes, they are duplicated, and they have 2 sister chromatids. So the diameter of each chromatid is around 700 nanometers. So this is the way how, and if it is a replicated chromosome, so there are 2 chromatids, the diameter is around 1400 nanometers. So basically this is the way how DNA is packed inside the small nucleus. This is the packaging pattern of DNA. And in the chromatin, there are 2 kinds of chromatins. This is basically just showing that how the different chromosomes, they have specific position. So this is chromatin, these are chromosomes. Okay, so you can see like this is, suppose this is your chromosome number 3. This chromosome number 3 is here. Okay, this is chromatin and these are chromosomes. And in the chromatin, there is a loosely packed chromatin, it's called euchromatin. And then there is a tightly packed chromatin, it's called heterochromatin. So usually at the regions like centromeres and telomeres, there the chromatin is very highly condensed. So that is called heterochromatin. So wherever the chromatin is very tightly packed, their expression of the genes cannot take place. There are many mechanisms, there are many modifications which take place to the histones, and because of which this chromatin becomes loose and then the genes can express. And the gene expression we are going to talk in the next chapter. So in this chapter we have discussed about how DNA makes its copy. In the next chapter we are going to talk about how DNA expresses itself, how genes express and they form proteins. So that's a topic for the next chapter. So that's all in this chapter. If you have any question, please let me know.